Hi, hello, and welcome to yet another Expat, the podcast where I share news, thoughts, stories, and random things that happen. I'm here to give some love to your brain. I'm here to give it some thoughts that don't come from the satanic social media that we're all using, and they don't come from your own brain. If you're listening this for the first time, I'm Hermes, I'm Greek, I live in Berlin. And I love science and news and observing the absurdity of the world, and I bring my thoughts and what I keep every Sunday here. I also became a dad, so there is some of that. Give it a try and see if you like it. Now, why am I saying all that? Old listeners, why am I making a small intro to what this weird podcast with the not egocentric selfish title at all? It's because the best way to grow a podcast is to go as a guest on other podcasts or bring guests to your own. Then, it combines the audiences. But that would require me interacting with other people. And why do that? Why need to socialize while you can be alone and have to suffer? So, I am growing the podcast in the most lonely way I can by doing some advertisement on the internet. So maybe we have a few new people. And yeah, I really need to make a good episode now because this might be the first one they're listening to. Hello, new people. No pressure at all. And I did a second guerrilla marketing thing. I found an expat comedy show in Berlin. They have 3 shows that they're doing. And I thought, ooh, that's a very good audience. People who live in Berlin and speak English. So my plan was to go make some stickers for the podcast and put it there. Just get in the venue, go in the toilet, and then start putting podcast stickers that have a QR code. I honestly don't know who in their right mind would scan a QR code from a sticker, but if you did, thank you and welcome. Now, did I manage to go to this comedy show and put things in the toilet there? No, I did not. I had 20 minutes after work on Friday, so I rushed to that area. The place was closed. I put a few stickers around. It feels so wrong to put stickers on the streets. I know it, okay? Berlin is full of stickers, but at the same time, there was an excitement, the excitement of doing something that is not allowed. And I looked it up. You can get a fine of less than €100. So I thought, okay, if someone sees me doing this, I'll just apologize and take it off. It's a small sticker. It has a QR code and it says, it's just my stupid podcast, I promise. And then it has a QR code. Very honest, if you ask me. So I put some stickers around and I got the rush of the teenager that is, doing a graffiti or writing something on the wall. You do it quick and fast, and then you want to run away in a mix of shame and excitement. So there we are. This was part of the intro. Maybe we have new people amongst us, and I need to make a good episode now. Putting stickers like a child and paying for some Reddit advertisement is where we are. Now let's get going. I have about 50 different things I want to tell you this week. This is because I skipped 1 week. I had some very good friends visiting over and I put my time there. It's really nice if you have a baby to show it to people you know, especially friends that have known you your entire life, because it becomes more real. At 14 months in, it continues to be a very surreal experience to be raising a little human, especially if you live abroad. So these are some of the moments that you feel like yourself. It's like there are these different roles at work and at home and being a parent. And then there is this whole other side of who you used to be before being a parent. And the friends, if you are lucky enough to have friends who have known you for many years, they also know that side. And for me, when friends are coming and visiting and they get to experience how life looks like right now, being a dad, it kind of puts me together. It makes me accept my whole self a bit more. Because otherwise, sometimes you feel fragmented. You feel the self you used to have when you were young and the self that you maybe have when you are socializing with certain types of people, or when you're at work, and then when you're at home. And it's nice when you have settings where all of this can kind of come closer into one thing and you can feel like your whole self. So this is what happened. If you have people in your lives where you don't need to try too much, you don't need to pretend, you feel that they understand you, and you can be relaxed, keep them close. I feel when you're an expat in a new place, a lot of things are a bit performative. The way you meet people, the way you socialize, the way you try to find this new self of yours that is now in this new place. Because that's a weird reality. And now I'm drifting. I had 50 things to tell you, and this is the 51st, I guess. But inevitably, when you change countries, you also change yourself. There is a new version of you that is in a place with different norms, different rules, different people, different relational connections. All the references you might be carrying in your life are no longer there. Like, there is a lot missing and a lot that needs to be put into that space instead. It's a tricky thing. I never thought of it too much until I realized it's happening. So yes, I had friends visiting over. It helps with the identity crisis you inevitably get when you live in another country. So that was good. But I have a ton of things I want to bring to you. Number 1, how many times do you have to pee in the night? Do you have to pee in the night? Has this weird new thing found you? Because I think it starts coming more and more when you are mid-30s and going upwards. And I refuse to accept that this is somehow a new reality that is normal, okay? It does come with a direct contrast with the need to hydrate. We need to hydrate a lot. I would bet money that most of you are dehydrated. All of us are dehydrated. Drinking water all day takes a lot of effort. I don't even try that hard, but I've come to realize that often in the night I will wake up and I will need to pee. My prostate is fine, thank you very much. I don't drink tea in the night. I don't drink coffee in the night. And I don't even drink that much water. And I look around and I realize that this is something that is just part of life. And I don't get it. Why does it happen? Why haven't we solved it? And dear nature, why are you so cruel to us? Sleeping is one of the few good things that we do for ourselves. If you think of the modern person, all the things we do in the day, most of them are probably harmful in one way or another, but sleep is the one thing that is unquestionably good for us. Is this even a word? Undisputably good for us. So why interrupt that? Like, this is not a good mechanism. And if you're sleeping with your partner and a baby, it feels like you need to do a mission impossible to get out of the room and go pee and not wake everyone up. And I'm just annoyed by it. I want every minute of the sleep I can get. I don't want interruptions, and I don't want to starve myself from water for the second half of the day just to not have to pee. So yes, dear listeners, does this happen to you? If not, you're lucky. Use this as a gratefulness example. Like, take a moment, take a breath, and feel grateful for yourselves that you don't have to pee in the night. And for the people that does happen, let's shed a tear together. Life shouldn't be like this, and I don't understand why there hasn't been an invention to help take this away. And I don't know what that could be, because I would not pee in a bottle. That is for extreme circumstances. You cannot be doing that every night. We need some sort of elegant solution to help us not pee in the night or pee in a beautiful way. Now, if I was a world creator, what I would do is that I would make a circular hole under the bed so I can continue to sleep on my belly, okay? Like these tables that they do massage, and you put your face in the hole and then your face can look down, but the rest of your body is on the bed. I would do the same, but the hole would be where my private parts are. So then my private parts would be like hanging out. And then I would transfer the bed on top of the sea, on top of a lake, on top of not too windy, somewhere calm. And I would just do this teleportation for as long as it takes for me to have a relaxing peeing, and then, teleport back in bed and close that hole and make sure no drips happen. This would be my dream, which I guess is very close to someone peeing themselves, in the sense that there is zero movement required from me. Everything gets removed and I get placed in a place where I can just pee and then continue sleeping. That would be the dream. And that is another tricky part, the dreams, because sometimes you really need to pee in your sleep, and then this gets transferred into your dream. So in your dream, you're looking somewhere to pee, and you know you need to pee, and then if you ever have this type of situation, you wake up and you really wonder, did I pee myself? Did I pee in my dream? Do I need to go pee right now? What is happening? Since we started like that, and before I go into real news and what's happening in the world, here's something I saw online and I found it interesting. It is a thought experiment, so if you were good at imagining me being transported with my bed on top of the sea with a hole so I can pee, you've already trained a little bit your imagination muscle for what comes next. But what comes next is for you, okay? It's a dilemma. It's a what if question. Because here we have a hypothetical scenario. Stay with me. You get 100 million instantly, okay? Tax-free, all legal, there is no catch. You get 100 million, but there is one catch, okay? Every day for 5 years, at a time that you can choose, let's just say at 3 p.m., you get teleported into a random part of the ocean for 30 seconds. Just 30 seconds, okay? And then, after these 30 seconds, you are back, you are dry, you are alive if you survived, no wounds or anything, but you get no gear. It's just you and your swimming suit. Maybe a thermal suit if it's freezing, but then it's just your swimwear, no life vest, nothing to float, just you and seawater. Would you do it? So one day maybe you get teleported into a tropical coral reef luxury, and then maybe the next day you get teleported into the open ocean with something circling beneath you. 5 years, every day for 30 seconds. For extreme circumstances, you can get a skip day, but then you still owe the full 5 years, so you still need to do it on the next day. And you can't change your mind. Would you take this deal? And this is a very interesting one. I think everyone is afraid of the sea, one way or another. Even if you love swimming close to the shore, in a beach and all of that, if you imagine the cold, deep, blue, dark waters in the middle of the night with nothing you can see left or right, don't you immediately get scared? I get scared. I get scared there's something beneath me. I get an existential type of fear. So I like this thought exercise. 100 million instantly, you're done. Like you do whatever you want. But every day for 30 seconds, you get this random appearance somewhere in the ocean. And if you think about it, the ocean is so vastly big that realistically the chances of you appearing somewhere where there are, giant jellyfish floating around or a herd of big animals, I think are very, very low. Then I think that if there are crazy waves and all that, I'm not too scared because it's 30 seconds. You can survive 30 seconds. You can hold your breath for 30 seconds. You can, close your eyes for 30 seconds. You can get pushed around, so that's fine. But getting teleported anywhere in the ocean, still 30 seconds won't kill you. Even if you're experiencing something that would kill you, I don't think it's going to make it in 30 seconds, even if it's preventing breathing. And all of that is way better than working a job. So, a daily challenge. I think I would do it, but it makes me incredibly anxious. And also the fact that you can choose the time of the day doesn't help because if you appear on the other side of the globe, somewhere in the ocean, it's going to be dark. You could appear very north, close to glaciers and things like that, incredibly freezing. And of course, you could also be teleported somewhere near the shore where there are rocks in the sea and waves, and you could be squashed into the rocks. But for some people, this is an absolutely no. If you watch 30 seconds of a video of an insane ocean storm on the internet, that's enough to send some people into an existential tailspin. The pressure, the anxiety of not knowing where you are when you don't know where you're going to end up could bring a very bad headspace to be in, anticipating for the 3 o'clock teleportation time. And some of the comments are very funny on this one. One says, day 1 and I am teleported into the propeller of a big ship. That would be very horrible. And there are many huge container ships traveling around. A few less these days because of the war and everything. But still, that is a terrifying thing to imagine. Hurricanes and sharks, bad weather, big waves. Every day for 5 years, 1,825 times. I think there are pretty good chances you will end up in some bad situations. But 30 seconds, I think even if you are in a bad situation, you can last for 30 seconds and then you're back into safety. So this is the thought experiment, 100 million, 30 seconds every day where you get teleported into a random part of the ocean. Would you do it? Ask your friends and get horrific thoughts together while you try to play out this bizarre scenario. Now, in the next bit, we stay close to the sea and the ocean, but now we come to the real world, okay? No more imaginary scenarios. Turn those imagination muscles off and get ready for some news and things that are happening. Now, a lot of bad things are going on, but I'm going to share a good piece of news because, sometimes also a few good things happen. Europe's largest drugstore chain has informed the world that they are discontinuing all krill products across their range. In Germany, this is DM, but this drugstore chain comes from the UK, and I think they have different ones in different countries. But what is all of this? What is krill? If you don't know, krill are some tiny things in the sea. They look like small shrimps, and they are the foundation of Antarctic life. They're eaten by whales, by penguins, by seals. The whole southern ocean ecosystem is depending on krill to survive. So these little things looking like baby prawns are being heavily fished. Not fished, they even get trawled. This thing where the huge ships put nets at the bottom of the sea, and then they just start dragging these huge nets from the top to the bottom, and they collect everything they find inside. It's a very destructive technique. And we use them for omega-3 supplements. We use them to feed farmed salmon. It's used in pet food. And there are these boats, the super trawlers. Their nets are large enough to swallow jumbo jets, and they are fishing directly in whale and penguin and seal feeding grounds in Antarctica. The WWF and other sea preservation organizations like Sea Shepherds are saying that the data shows that if you have reduced krill availability, then you have fewer whale pregnancies and long-term population recovery at risk. So this is a very, very big deal. DM Grocery is the largest drugstore in Europe, and they announced that they will be removing krill oil products from their entire range. And hopefully, this is a small step in stopping to exploit the ocean. Now, for every good thing, there's also a bad thing. So let's stay in the sea news and hear about one of the horrible things that are happening thanks to the administration of the US. So there is this thing called the Endangered Species Act. It's essentially an act that prohibits things like oil drilling and throwing out your garbage at the sea, and it is there to protect the extinction of protected species. Now, there is a committee for that Endangered Species Act. It is made of 7 people, but the problem is that these 7 people are all appointed by the president. So Trump has put 7 people in that Endangered Species Committee, and this committee met. It's the 3rd time that it meets since 1978. They usually meet for a good reason. Well, now they met to provide a full exemption for the entire Gulf of Mexico to be drilled for offshore oil and gas drilling. So what this means is that oil companies that are operating across the Gulf are no longer required to protect the species that their drilling injures, harasses, and kills. Now, the Gulf of Mexico has some of the most endangered marine species on the planet, some whales. They're called rice whales. It's one of the rarest whale species in the world. They live there year-round. They have sea turtles, sharks, rays, coral ecosystems. And none of these will now be protected. They are condemning these endangered species to extinction just to drill for more oil. And they did it with using a committee that answers directly to the president and asked themselves for their permission and then gave themselves the permission. So this is pretty bad. The entire marine ecosystem of the Gulf of Mexico is now stripped of their last legal protection and in the hands of the oil and drilling companies. And with this, I will just say, with every species that goes extinct, I feel that our knowledge as a species gets poorer. Because every single animal species that scientists have spent enough time, effort, and resources to study has always revealed some mind-blowing facts about how nature works and how intelligence shows in different ways. So besides the ecosystems collapsing and us being a part of the ecosystems, I always also feel bad for all the discoveries that will not be able to be made because species go extinct. And I think we're a bit too animal focused on this episode, but this next one fits really well. You know, scientists always wondered, how do birds navigate? How do they know where the north is? And how do they perceive the magnetic field of the Earth? Because we know that they can somehow perceive it in a way. For many decades, they thought that birds can navigate using some tiny iron crystals that are built into their beaks. But now they came into a revolutionary discovery in a field called quantum biology. So migratory birds are believed to possess, and hold it for this, a quantum compass in their eyes that enables them to actually see the Earth's magnetic field and allows them to navigate with high precision. This mechanism is a key area of study in a field called quantum biology, showing that some creatures are using quantum physics to navigate. So let's back it up and take it together. These birds have a protein in their eyes, and this protein is a light-sensitive protein. So when the blue light from sunlight hits this cryptochrome protein in their eyes, it creates a pair of molecules, each of them containing an electron. The spins of these two electrons become quantum entangled, meaning that they are linked together. So there is something in the sunlight that entangles two electrons in the eyes of these birds. Then these two entangled electrons are susceptible to magnetic sensitivity. So based on the direction that the bird is facing, the magnetic field of the Earth subtly changes the chemical reaction outcomes in the eye. So researchers believe that this quantum sensitivity allows birds to perceive the magnetic field as a visual pattern. This is where we end up, such as light or shade or color, and we don't know exactly how, but we know that this is overlaid on their normal vision. So it's almost like they have a heads-up display or a glowing map across their field of view. So this is a very interesting field. A lot of people are doing their PhDs on this, looking at the comments of this article. And basically, quantum phenomena were traditionally believed to be too delicate to have applications on biology. But now we know that they have been proven in photosynthesis, and a lot more. It could really help us understand what life is from a scientific point of view. And it seems that this is coming close to an end now for a normal episode time. My goal was not met. This has been a pretty focused episode on animal wildlife preservation with a little bit of science. If you're still here and listening, there is usually also personal stories coming in, world politics, news on Greece and Germany. We didn't have any of that now. But that's fine. Sometimes it is like this, other times it is like that. And as you can see, I'm not tailoring this episode to these new, very welcome people that might be listening because of my stupid stickers and paying money out of my pocket to make advertisements. But here is the last of the last piece of information, news I want to share with you. And I'll stay true to the animal side of things and the tech and science we brought in. But I will add as a spice the word of AI. And we're late in the podcast, so I'm not going to... I'll just give you the headline. Do you know that a guy made a cancer vaccine for his dog using AI? This is mind-blowing. There's this guy, Paul Gunningham. He is a data engineer, that helped, but he has zero biology background. And this guy made headlines a few weeks ago. He has a dog called Rosie, cool stuff, and she was diagnosed with mast cell cancer in 2024. It's a common skin cancer for dogs, and it's normally incurable. He took his dog to veterinarians in Sydney, and they all told them that his dog had some months to live, and he just didn't accept it. The dog even did chemotherapy, which slowed the spread, but it couldn't shrink the tumors. So he turned to AI and set out to do something that no one has ever done before. He built a personalized cancer vaccine for a dog. He paid some thousands to have the dog's healthy DNA and tumor DNA both sequenced at the University of New South Wales. So he got the entire sequence of the healthy DNA and the tumor DNA. Then he used different AI tools, including AlphaFold. I think we might have talked about AlphaFold sometime in the past. It is a protein modeling system to help you, not you, it helps scientists create different models of proteins. So he used that to try and pinpoint the mutations driving her cancer, and then identify potential drug targets. And as he said, we took her tumor, we sequenced the DNA, we converted it from tissue to data, and then we used this data to find the problem in her DNA. And then we wanted to develop a cure based off of that. The ChatGPT assisted throughout the entire process. Now, when he could identify which parts of the DNA seemed to have the problem and some proteins that he thought could be targeted, he reached out to a pharmaceutical company to help him supply this immunotherapy drug. And when they refused to him, then he turned into an RNA institute to manufacture a custom mRNA vaccine from this AI-generated formula he had come down to. And this whole thing happened. It's crazy. So less than 2 months after the sequence was finalized, they did build an mRNA vaccine with this university's mRNA Institute, the same university that he used to do the unfolding and the sequencing of the DNA. And yeah, they made the sequence into a vaccine. They gave it to the dog, and then the tumor on her leg shrunk by 75%. The dog could not move that much, and now it's jumping over fences again. And the researchers at the University of New South Wales, the university that helped him sequence the DNA and make the mRNA vaccine, say that it's the first personalized cancer vaccine ever designed for a dog. And of course, it raises the question, if we can do this for a dog, why aren't we rolling this out to humans? But of course, this is just a sign of things to come. There is rigorous testing required and clinical research, and all of these things take decades to be safe for people. But personalized medicine and how AI is an accelerator and an enabler for that, because it can process unthinkable amounts of data very, very fast, is something we will be seeing more and more. And ultimately, if we can make a personalized cancer vaccine for a dog, we are going to be using technologies like this to help more humans, hopefully. The real signal is what it validates, that the same mRNA platform technology can be already tested in humans and clinical trials. And some of the biggest names in pharma are having advanced programs using this technology that are nearing potential regulatory approval. So Merck and Moderna, BioNTech, the German company behind Pfizer's COVID vaccine, all of these companies are running their own mRNA cancer vaccine programs. So this is a field that will get much more traction. Congrats to the guy for saving his dog. I don't know if any normal person could do it. It did require some determination, some money, and some connections. But good for him and good for everyone if these technologies become more widespread. Now let's wrap it up here. I think I will name this episode Mostly Animals, because this is what it was, and this is what we are. There goes the political comment to the situation we are experiencing. But I have been me, and you have been you. Thanks for having your welcome ears to listen to this thoughts and news. Hopefully, a few things stick with you. Training your imagination muscles, from imagining me pee from my bed to you being teleported in the middle of the ocean for 30 seconds for 100 million euros, and learning how the birds are using quantum entanglement to fly. The ones that can fly, because sadly the ones that can swim are in the hands of Donald Trump and his committee that likes oil more than anything else. But there are shimmers of hope, because companies like DM are stopping the destruction of the Antarctic for their products. And almost random guy managed to get a personalized cancer vaccine for his dog. So with all of that, I wish you a great rest of the week, and I will speak to you in the next one. Until then, ciao!